Yankees win another series. That's now 8 straight series victories for the Yankees, and they improve their record to 25-9, which is the best in baseball. It's just been very impressive, and it seems that the Yankees are going to be able to continue this. I mean, obviously, it's a very long season, but you have to be impressed by what you see, and they find different ways to win each game. I still say that their pitching has been really very consistent. There were some slight struggles pitching-wise in the series, really mainly the first game where Luis Gil had to be the starter because there was a couple of rainouts the previous weekend. So this is the first time the Yankees used their sixth starter. But other than that, it's been really exceptional. And the White Sox are off to a slow start this season, but when push comes to shove, I'd expect that to be a team that wins the AL Central. The Twins have been pretty good so far, and to a certain extent against Cleveland's been okay. But I think the White Sox on paper certainly should be a team that wins that division. So to win 3 out of 4 at the White Sox, when the Yankees had been doing well to begin with, no one would have complained if they split the 4 games. No one would have had a big problem with that. But to win 3 out of 4, you got to be really happy about that. And the Yankees have done well against the White Sox. Looking back to last season, I believe the Yankees won 5 out of 6 against Chicago on the season, and the only loss was the Field of Dreams game. And the Yankees actually play the White Sox next weekend at Yankee Stadium. And in between these White Sox series is a 4-game set at Baltimore, which happens to be, ironically, their only lost series of the season at Baltimore. But they did make up for that with a sweep at home against the Orioles. So, I don't think it's a whole lot to ask if the Yankees win 3 out of 4 at Baltimore. I mean, looking for a 4-game sweep, that's a lot. That's a bit ridiculous. But, I think for the Yankees win 3 out of 4, I think that's well within reason. And I wouldn't be surprised if come next episode, that's the result. But 25-9, I mean, you're looking at just shy of a 750 winning percentage. It's dominant. And, just however you want to look at it. And I think the Dodgers, for me, are the best team in Major League Baseball. I know that they've been struggling, but that, for me, is the gold standard. But I think just when you look at it to date, beyond record, because I think there was a time when the Yankees did have the best record where I still was like, well, the Dodgers, I think, were better. But now the Dodgers have struggled a bit, and I think the Yankees have been the most impressive team this season. Say what you will, but I think the stats bear that out, and I think the eye test as well. The Yankees just lineup-wise, it's been very, very strong with basically MVP level type. Like, really, Aaron Judge has reached a point where he would be in that MVP conversation. Giancarlo Stanton, when he is on a heater, watch out, and he's on one right now. He's been ridiculous. So, the Yankees are being carried by those guys, but then also now they are getting certain players are doing better. I feel as if Josh Donaldson is coming around, and his defense at third has been great. I mean, today with Nestor Cortes in the mound, he was excellent at third. Joey Gallo, who, look, I'm not a fan of Joey Gallo, but to be fair, lately, been a lot better. More than Joey Gallo that you'd hope for. He's going to strike out a lot, but he's been getting on base. Hits a home run today, getting some more hits. So, I like what I'm seeing. So, as far as the first game goes, like I said, Luis Gil was the starter. I was hoping that it'd be Clark Schmidt, but I understand why it wasn't. And Clark Schmidt ended up pitching the Saturday game and pitched pretty well. And so it ends up being no harm, no foul. I think they view Schmidt as someone that can be with the club. In essence, Schmidt basically took Lo Castro's spot on the roster is basically what happened. And so I think Schmidt will be here to stay for at least a little bit. And so Luis Gil struggled, but the Yankees offense absolutely made up for it. And in this one, Connor Falefa would not start as he had been struggling heading into the series, but I think signs of life from IKF coming out of it. And as well, Gleyber Torres was not in the lineup to start, but does make an impact in this one. He also didn't start the fourth game, so Gleyber did not start 2 of the games. He still is kind of that odd man out in some ways in terms of the infield. So the Yanks get it started early. Leadoff double LeMahieu, and then with 2 outs, it's Giancarlo Stanton with a 2-run homer to right center field off of Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease, it's funny, he goes 4 innings and gets 11 strikeouts, but also gives up 6 runs. So 4 innings, 11 strikeouts, only one of his outs was not via the K. But the Yankees were still able to get to him. But Stanton starts it out with that 2-run homer in the first. Bottom of the second, Luis Hill gets into some trouble. Eventually, you have first and second, one out, and A.J. Pollock gets an RBI double. It's then second and third, 2 outs, still up 2-1, but Lurie Garcia gets a 2-run single, and that makes it 3-2 White Sox. But the Yankees, as they do, they respond immediately. And so Judge gets a 1-out walk, and then Anthony Rizzo with an RBI triple to tie it up at 3. And then it's that guy again, Giancarlo Stanton, and he wouldn't be done on this night. But at this point, it's 2 homers and 4 ribbies for Stanton, gives the Yanks a 5-3 lead. They would add on to that in the fourth as Higashioka gets a 2-out single, and DJ LeMahieu with an RBI double to make it 6-3 Yankees. Then Luis Hill gets into some trouble in the fourth. This would be his last inning. There'd be a bases loaded. There would be a bases loaded 1-out jam, and eventually he only gives up 1 run. It was a 2-out wild pitch, but he's able to escape out of it. So with Luis Hill, you see the stuff. I liked Luis Hill a lot last year. In 6 starts, this is someone that even though he struggles in the minors, you could see there's absolutely major league potential there with him. So now the score is 6-4. And in the bottom of the fifth, Miguel Castro comes on, pitches a 1-2-3 fifth. Lucas Licky pitches a scoreless 6th inning. And in the top of the 7th, the Yankees get a solo homer from Aaron Judge. His 11th homer of the year gives the Yanks a 7-4 lead. But then in the 7th, there'd be some trouble. And it'd be an infield single by Lurie Garcia off of Lucas Licky. Licky, who made an error the inning before, not the greatest fielder as a pitcher. Hard to kill him for this one, but just after what happened in the 6th, that was a little bit fluky. So Jonathan Loaiza comes in, and Loaiza, for me, has been one of the bigger disappointments this season, certainly based on expectation. I think arguably last year, Clay Holmes, obviously, they acquired him, and he was amazing, and we'll talk about Clay Holmes, but Loaiza was the best reliever on the Yanks last year, one of the best in the American League. But Loaiza walks Tim Anderson and then gives up a game-tying 3-run homer to Yoan Moncada, ties it up at 7. So that's a little bit disheartening where the Yankees, had a big lead and it goes away like that. But in the 8th, a very impressive 2-out rally that leads to 7 runs. And actually Aaron Hicks makes 2 outs in this inning. So Marlon Gonzalez draws a 2-out walk. And then Gleyber Torres has a great at-bat. He pinch hits for Higashioka. He's down 0-2 and he draws the walk. So it's first and second, then LeMahieu walks. Bases loaded. And against Joe Kelly, and Aaron Judge, good hustle, gets an infield single that scores 2 runs. Gleyber Torres with good base running from second scores on the infield single where Judge beats it out. And so that makes it 9-7. And then it's bases loaded. Kelly's out of the game after a Rizzo walk. Tanner Banks, the lefty, comes on to face Giancarlo Stanton. What does Stanton do? Rips a line drive, 2-run single, his 6th RBI of the night, gives the Yanks 11-7 lead. And then the exclamation point would be a 3-run homer by Josh Donaldson to make it 14-7. So right there you have a football score. And the Yanks take that 14-7 lead. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Chad Green comes on, pitches a scoreless 8th inning. In the 9th, the Yankees would score 1 more run via an Aaron Judge sac fly. Green pitches the 9th as well. And the Yanks win 15-7. So just even in this game, the Yankees are just built a little bit differently where they didn't let the fact that the White Sox tied it up 7-7 mean anything. What do? 7-run inning in the 8th, all with 2 outs and no one on. So really impressive stuff. And so the Yankees win that first game. Second game is Garrett Cole on the mound against Vince Velasquez. And you got to like that pitching matchup right there. That's an advantage. That's advantage Yankees. And for Cole, it was a very good outing. Makes 1 mistake to Gavin Sheets in the bottom of the 6th. Other than that, he was pretty brilliant. And in this one, we would see Anthony Rizzo take a seat, and that would be it, Anthony Rizzo. So the Yanks, again, jump out to the early lead, and it's Giancarlo Stanton with a 2-run homer. Just really impressive. Gives the Yanks a 2-0 lead. And then in the top of the second, it would be a rare hit in runners in scoring position for Aaron Hicks. And Aaron Hicks batted 9th in this game, and then also batted 9th in the 4th game. So, you know what? I don't hate it completely. For a guy that does walk and really hasn't been playing well, I think the 9-hole is not bad. And Hicks kind of does show some level of improvement. It really isn't a high bar, but Hicks gets an RBI double to give the Yanks a 3-0 lead. You get an RBI granted by DJ LeMahieu, and then Josh Donaldson with an RBI double. Donaldson, by the end of the series, he has a very long on-base streak. I believe it might be as high as 21 games. I'm not 100% on that, but it might just be. So Donaldson with the RBI double gives the Yanks a 5-0 lead. And then in the fourth, kind of similar to the night before, you get an additional solo home run by Aaron Judge. His 12th homer of the year gives the Yanks a 6-0 lead. In the bottom of the fourth, the White Sox score a run on a balk by Garrett Cole. And so it's 6-1. But just like the Yankees do, and I'm noticing this, is they respond the next inning, and it's Joey Gallo who homers and makes it 7-1. So Gallo homers in game 2 and in game 4. And so it's 7-1. Bottom of the sixth, Garrett Cole gets into a little bit of trouble. Like I said, and it's a 2-run homer to Gavin Sheets, gives the White cuts that lead to 7-3. And in the seventh, Cole gets one out. Then Michael King comes on and finishes it out. Michael King, very, very impressive job as he does give up a run, but he ends up pitching 2 2/3. So it's just a Cole King combination. And I don't think King's been as sharp lately, but it's fine. So it stays 7-4. And so King, pitches a pretty important 7th and 8th inning. And then in the ninth, it would be kind of a very similar. Game 1 and 2 were a lot of ways similar because you get kind of another dagger home run by Josh Donaldson, a 2-run homer by Donaldson to give the Yanks a 9-3 lead, and then a sac fly by Connor Falefa makes it 10-3. King, like I said, does give up a run in the ninth, and the Yankees win it 10-4. So the offense really exploded in the first 2 games, where it was definitely held in check in games 3 and 4. And that kind of makes sense because who pitched game 3? Jordan Montgomery, who does not get run support. I don't know what it is, but he doesn't. Aaron Hicks would see the bench in game 3. It'd be Montgomery versus Dallas Keuchel. Frustrating the Yankees really didn't get to Dallas Keuchel, who has really not been good at all this season. I was hoping for more there. They're capable of more there, but it didn't happen. In the first, you get an RBI single by Luis Robert, makes it 1-0. In the third, it would be a solo homer by Yohan Moncada, makes it 2-0. Montgomery would not make it out of the fourth. Montgomery would not make it out of the fifth. And coming on would be Clark Schmidt, but Clark Schmidt does a really good job. Clark Schmidt goes 2 2/3 scoreless. So it's been really excellent work from Schmidt. He holds it at 2-0. We head to the eighth, where the Yankees finally get going, and Joe Kelly comes on. And the Yankees, they hit Joe Kelly well, and as well Liam Hendriks, who would eventually come on for the 5-out save attempt. But it's a 1-out single for Judge, then Rizzo single, so it's first and third, and Giancarlo Stanton with an RBI single makes it 2-1, cuts the lead to 2-1. So Liam Hendriks, who the Yankees do well against, comes on for a 5-out save, and Anthony Rizzo steals third. So it's a first and third chance for Donaldson, and he strikes out. So Donaldson does not come through there. You wanted the fly ball, it didn't happen. And then Aaron Hicks, who had pinch run for Stanton, he then steals second. So Gleyber Torres has a second and third situation, and he's come through in the clutch this year, but he strikes out there. So disappointing, and the Yankees are still down 2-1. Clay Holmes comes on for the bottom of the eighth, and what does he do? Scoreless inning, because Clay Holmes is a beast. And so now it's 2-1 going to the ninth, and Joey Gallo works leadoff walks. This is what I'm talking about. Gallo, it's been better lately. And he's streaky, and right now he's definitely finding himself a little bit more, and that was a good leadoff walk. Then Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who also had been struggling, I said, had a pretty good series. There were some mistakes, and we'll discuss really his biggest mistake coming up here, but he does single to make it first and third, and then he's still second. Second and third, and Kyle Higashioka's up with no outs. I was surprised that they didn't pinch hit Marwin Gonzalez. I would have done that, but Higashioka does get the job done. He gets a sac fly that scores Gallo. However, Kiner-Falefa gets thrown out at third. And while I don't hate, it's okay if you get thrown out at third for the second out. Like, rule of thumb, you don't get thrown out at third on the first or third out. Second out's okay, but this was way too aggressive. The play was right in front of him. You have LeMahieu and Judge coming up. You're the lead run. You cannot do that. And you know what? Give him credit after the game. He admitted that was a bonehead move. You can't do it. It's unacceptable. So the inning kind of dies at that point. LeMahieu strikes out. We head to the bottom of the ninth, and Aroldis Chapman comes on. And Chapman, I guess he's really your one big negative of the series. And Chapman doesn't get the job done. Chapman in a tie game is worrisome, although I would rather Chapman pitch in the ninth than in the extra inning where the runner's on second. Like, absolutely. So if Chapman was going to have to come in anyway, I honestly would rather it have been in the ninth, even though it was against the tough part of the order. But Chapman kind of lost it a bit. It's a one-out single to Tim Anderson, then he walks Moncada, and then it's an RBI single by Luis Robert to win it. A walk-off win for the White Sox, 3-2. Chapman needs to be better there. I still think that Chapman, he's worrisome. And I know it's crazy because the statistics are very good, but I just think, and there's a good sign that happened in Game 4. In Game 4, Chapman, I believe, was available. He only pitched just Game 3. Clay Holmes pitched the ninth, and it ended up being a non-save situation, but he would have pitched it even if it was a two-run game. That's a good sign that maybe there is a situation in which Clay Holmes or someone else, but ideally Holmes, pitches the ninth inning. That could be big. If they can move off Chapman being the every time ninth inning guy, that could be a really good development. You can't be scared of what Chapman thinks or feels. I'm sorry. And so that is an interesting development. I don't fully believe it yet. I need to see it more, but that was good. So Game 4, it's Nestor Cortes time. Nasty Nestor, unbelievable. Goes 8 innings and gives up 1 run. He rented a little bit of gas in the 8th. I would have maybe taken him out after 7. He got hit hard in the 8th, gave up a home run. But amazing. 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, no walk, 7 strikeouts. His ERA is 1.35 on the season. And I know there's a lot till the All-Star game, but right now he'd be a lock for the All-Star game. And really, it'd be him or Justin Verlander to start for the American League. Nestor Cortes has come so far. It is amazing. He's fun to watch. And you really trust him at this point. As much as I'm waiting for that shoe to drop, he really gets it done. What's amazing about this game is that the Yankees get 2 hits and they win by 4 runs. That's a record for the Yankees. This is the most highest margin of victory when getting 2 hits or less. 5 runs on 2 hits. Pretty amazing. So in this game, Gleyber Torres would sit. And in the second inning is when the Yankees get to Michael Kopech, kind of. Really more self-inflicted on Kopech's part. 2-out rally. Gallo walk. Connor left a single. Trevino walk, which is important. Trevino doesn't walk much, but he has in some big spots, and this kind of ended up being one. Aaron Hicks with a bases-loaded walk. The one good thing that Hicks can do is walk. LeMahieu walks, so that's 2 bases-loaded walks in a row. And then while Judge was up, it's a wild pitch that scores Trevino and gives the Yankees a 3-0 lead. Then Cortes is just in complete cruise control. Absolutely. Until the bottom of the 8th, where he does get hit kind of hard, and a 1-out homer to Adam Engel. Engel's first homer of the season, actually. So Yankees kind of got a little bit fortunate there, but it's 3-1 going to the 9th, and just for that exclamation point, they get it. And again, it's a 2-out rally. Donaldson 2-out walk, and Joey Gallo with a 2-run homer to give the Yanks a 5-1 lead. And then Clay Holmes, like I said, he was warming up anyway. He comes in the 9th. He gets it done, and the Yankees win 5-1. Just a very impressive series all the way around. Just they're doing all the right things. They're getting those insurance runs. They respond after they've given up runs. There's got to be I have to say that the Yankees probably lead baseball in runs scored after they've allowed runs, which hasn't been much, but they are just mentally sharp. Everything is really rolling right now. As a Yankee fan, you have to be very happy about things. And so now, like I said, they go to Baltimore for a 4-game set. And let's just, go through the pitching matchups. Luis Severino versus Kyle Bradish, who the Yankees have never faced. So that should be good. I think Severino, you want him to sharpen up a bit. I think Severino, out of everyone, has been a little bit, and it's not fair, but he's struggled just a bit. Then it's Jamison Town versus Spencer Watkins. Watkins is someone who has not done well, and the Yankees have done well against him. Kind of like that matchup. And then Game 3, you are looking at Garrett Cole versus Jordan Lyles. Of course, the Yankees did struggle against Lyles earlier in the year, but of course, Cole Lyles, you got to like that one. And then the 4th matchup is Jordan Montgomery versus Bruce Zimmerman. And that's kind of the one where I could see that being the loss. Montgomery gets no run support. Bruce Zimmerman has been pretty good this season. So that's the one where, I could see the failed sweep maybe, where they win 3 out of 4. They lose that last one where Montgomery gets no run support. That would kind of make sense. And then the Yankees play the White Sox again back at the stadium. So again, all things are good. 8 straight series victories for the Yanks, 25-9, best record in baseball, and let's keep the good times rolling.